Hey everyone. I'm gonna try and do two quick videos today, of things that's come up that I wanted to discuss. Um, as I'm still like kind of working on my demand letter and gathering all the people and looking up everything that I need, to get that demand letter ready. That's got to be 180 days before you file suit. So I'd like to file suit in February of 2027, which gives me at least a year before the statute of limitations are up for the state of Florida. Um, and there's something I've touched on in my videos a little bit about, and I've touched on my videos a little bit about this. But I wanted to take time in this video to talk about this, which is um which is let's see, it's over there. Um, okay. There is I believe he's an adoptee, and I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's been on the Faces pages a lot. And I don't know if this is something new or if he's been doing it for years, but this is fairly new to me. And he's fighting how our foster care to adoption pipeline and it's also become a child trafficking pipeline. But I really gonna be honest, I have a hard time reading his posts because of the nature of it, but I have to read his posts because the ugliness of this whole thing is the deaths of children. And I don't even know, it's starting to look like at least one a day. 300 or 400 a year of our babies being killed. Because here's the thing, and I know I've touched about this and I know I've talked to people about this. And listen, if you're a foster parent or you're a CPS worker and you want to show me facts and receipts that I'm incorrect, I really welcome you to. But the thing is what I've known in the 30 years that I've been advocating, and also as as a person who was voluntarily involved with DCF. I was never found to be abusive, but that didn't stop Florida from lying. I've never abused my children or grandchildren. I'd rather die. I'm like the literal helicopter parent. Like I've always been that overly crazy, like crazy person. Um, who is so like protective and watch out for my kids. I'm gonna try and make these quick because today is Sunday. It's almost 5, I think. Um, and my husband and I usually on Sundays we take one of our pups for like a ride through the mountains, and then we stop, grab like some fast food or whatever. My husband loves fried fish. I absolutely detest it, but I think we're gonna go to Long John Silver's. Really don't go too much. I can eat the chicken. The dog we're taking, Elsa, she can eat chicken. And I'm thinking about starting like some video stories about like our trips out with our dogs because we have three. Um, and we like to take them for rides and like maybe go to outdoor patios that we can bring them to, or just take them for a ride and feed them in the car, fish or what, or chicken or something. Two of my dogs can't eat chicken. They have chicken allergies. One's a red and one's a blue Doberman, and because of the pigmentation, they have really bad skin. So they can't really eat chicken and they have to take melatonin that helps their skin, which is good. It also helps them go sleepy sleep for a nice long night. I mean, it doesn't knock them out cold or anything. It just helps them sleep better, which is great. Um, okay, and it is safe for them. I've had dog specialists tell me actually to give that to them. So, and actually, like one dog sleeps with us, our red Doberman, and all you have to do is shake the melatonin. He jumps up, like, give me some. I go, like, one potato, two potato, and he knows. He knows exactly what he's going to get. They're very smart dogs. But we're gonna go out. It's kind of like a family day with our dogs. We don't have children. We have fur babies. So we're gonna take them. We take them each like on a Sunday, rotate it, and take them for rides. Give them some treats. Some human food, which as long as you don't go overboard, is fine. I mean, the dog we are taking today was found in a dumpster. I call her my dumpster dog. We had her DNA tested, and she's got 19 breeds. Some loser backyard breeder, probably out of Florida. Okay, so enough of that. I got to try and make this one quick, and then make the second one kind of quick. All right, so Moses Farrow, he talks about children that were killed in foster care and adoption. And one thing that I would like to address, and I would like to be discredited if you can't, but I have never heard, and I know I've asked some in the past. I know almost every parent has to be neuropsychologically tested. It's always by their contractors. You can't pick the doctor that does it, the psychologist that does it. You can't pick them. And you can't pick them. And uh, because they're paid, they go by the narrative that DCF tells them. I want you to make this person a narcissist. I want you to make this person this. I want you to make this person antisocial personality disorder. I want you to make this person borderline personality disorder or whatever. And it's to discredit them, which it shouldn't, because we have an ADA that should not discredit not only just poor people, but those that suffer from mental illness or any other disability, blind, deaf, handicapped, in a wheelchair, anything like that. It should not. But that doesn't stop. That doesn't stop the corruption. That doesn't stop judges from being like, yes, master, whatever you say, DCF. It's pathetic. Now, I'll tell you, like, for an instance, my daughter had to be done. Now, my daughter was diagnosed. She was officially diagnosed when she was a teenager, but doctors do not want to give a child a stigma that they're bipolar when they're young, but they can see and they can tell. I mean, there was books written called The Bipolar Child, and I was mentored by a Harvard professor, a very renowned psychiatrist in Massachusetts. He told me to read The Bipolar Child. He told me to read books on Asperger's. He told me to read books on autism, other books. And you tell me, what is your child's name? You're with them all the time. I'm with them a half an hour a week, or you know however often it was. And but they may not say your child's bipolar, but they may start putting them on lithium at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, to help with those mood swings, help to stabilize them some. And, for those people who are like, don't medicate your kids, I don't want to hear your crap. I don't want to hear your crap. I really don't, because the brain is an organ just like your heart, just like, every other organ you have. And those are going to have disorders. And some of those orders require surgery, some of those orders require medication. And the brain will require maybe either or. So I just don't want to hear it. I know there's people are out, don't give your kids meds, don't vaccinate your children. I don't want to hear that. I gave my kids meds, I vaccinated my kids. And I will tell you right now, my son that was bipolar and severe intermittent explosive disorder never climbed a clock tower. You understand? Now, I really also believe in doing a medication regimen with hand in hand behavior modification, learning coping skills and stuff like that. So, one day you won't need medication. And, they don't, but and they don't have these massive meltdowns or outbursts of anger anymore, because sometimes you have to do the hard things, and in the end of the day, they can go on to lead somewhat, better lives. So, on these, I've never heard of a DCF worker having a psychological exam done, nor have I ever heard of a foster parent or an adoptive parent. If you have, let me know and tell me what was the reason why you did. Was it part of you becoming an adoptive parent, or did something come up that they said, oh, let's do this? Did you start having like CPS investigations, like wanting to remove or hinting about removing your children or giving you a case plan? Because CPS can be called on foster and adoptive parents too. Like we know the story, I don't know, years ago, not too many years ago, but I'd say within the last decade, you had two women adopted a bunch of, I believe, African American children. Grandparents wanted them, and they kept moving state to state. But they were so abusive and horrific that CPS was called on them, and they'd have to keep moving again. And eventually, they took their minivan and drove off and killed them all. Were they neurologically tested? Was there any psych testing done on them? I bet you not, because I think they would have foreseen this if it was really done, and if the person was of any good caliber. But come on, I mean, I think a real decent therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist will like do the real thing, and have a caseload of patients. And these other ones, these hacks, they'll just do all these like cheap CPS. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're cheaper than like probably what insurance pays, I think. But and here's the thing. At some point, there's policy made. And I am going to sue policymakers because they make the laws and they look the other way when the workers break the laws. They just look the other way. That's not policy. See, they make these little sweet sounding policies for the citizens to, oh, okay, all right. So there is oversight. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. That's why it keeps failing. And then the answer becomes, oh, well, send us some money. Give us more money. We don't have enough. You know what? Stop sitting in court all day. Stop having 10 people for one case sitting in court. You've got you've got the gal's supervisor, that's an attorney. You've got the DCF attorney. You've got the case manager. You've got their super. You know what I mean? There's a whole group of people just sitting on their tuck in court. These people, why aren't they answering to the court system, the criminal court system? They're the ones that vetted these parents. They're the ones that's supposed to regularly maintain these parents. And they're not doing their job correctly. to a criminal extent. Do you understand? Criminal extent. They're not doing their job to a criminal extent. They're looking away when children say, I'm being abused, or have a black eye, or a big welt on their head, or some other forms of abuse. They're not acting right. They're not acting like themselves. You know what? Stop with this. Every freaking foster parent, adoptive parent's a saint, because they're not. The majority of them are garbage. Garbage. They take in kids for numerous reasons. Slavery. We ended that. Abuse for a sexual toy, which is sad. And I hate to say that, but it's the fucking truth. It's the God honest truth. That's why some of them do it. Some of it just do it for a paycheck. And then you think about it. And I watched like a financial thing the other day, and this is really kind of true. People get into jobs, they get raises, they get more money, and they always push that envelope to that financial windfall, right? You know, you just get a $10,000 a year raise. Well, let's go get a better apartment. Let's go get a better car instead of banking it. Same thing goes for foster parents and adoptive parents. They're now getting all this money for the kids, and now they're enhancing the lifestyle. But now they've maxed out. They're back to living paycheck by paycheck. They're poor. And now they've got friggin' 8 kids. They don't want to take care of them. And they're not getting a windfall anymore. They're now living within those means. And the kids are just like, oh, that's such a burden. You know what I mean? They're getting the same amount of money. You know, it starts leveling off unless they get more kids. And then there's just more kids to take care of. So what's the answer? Well, let's stick them in cages. Like a dog. Let's give them back like a dog. You know what I mean? When our children are treated like a domestic pet, we're a lost society. And if you know this and you just sit there and say, not me, not my kids, don't ever think it can't be your children or your grandchildren or your nieces or your nephews, because children are a supply and they got to replace them. They age out or they get killed, right? So I want to sit there. I want us to start pushing laws. Pushing laws that when a foster parent or adoptive parent kills a child, the people, whether it's 2, 3, 6, that put them in that home, that look the other way, falsified records. Like I know, and I've heard of it, and I've read of parents that were not told like immediate when their child passed. Some didn't hear for weeks. Some didn't hear for months. Some were never even told and believe they're still alive. Why? Why wouldn't you give that? I mean, it's sad news, but you can't keep making them hope for those children that are never coming home. And 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 in the instant, like it's not like you know, or send a police officer to tell them. No, you're sitting and you've got to hide records. You're hitting that shredding machine, aren't you? You're deleting, aren't you? Aren't you? We need to start pushing for laws for these people. And we need to start getting rid of immunity for DCF workers, cops, all bad actors that know better, that go against policy, go against laws, go against statutes, against case laws. You know what? I mean, let's stop, you know, pretending that, oh, you know, you kept that child in an abusive relationship. And let's say this: children are not killed on the first beatdown. Rarely, rarely. Look at that Montgomery kid. It's assumed that he hit her in the head because he did it before. The courts are saying, what? You can't talk about that? They don't think that it should be talked about? Past behaviors? Behaviors are indicative. And if you don't think they are, you're an idiot. An abuser is going to be an abuser and going to be abuser, and they're never going to stop being an abuser. And the fact that these people are the ones that run to court with an ex parte order to remove kids for neglect. For neglect. Most of these cases are fucking for neglect. Not because they're going to be dying. And then you go and you stick them in a home where they end up dying. You're to blame. You're a loser. Nobody. And a job destroying families. I have no sympathy for you, and you need to go to jail. And the more you start going to jail, the more things will change. Jail is the answer, not more money. Jailing the people who harm these children. Are they conspirators? Are they aiders and abettors? I don't care what you need to call it, but you need to call it clink clink. You're doing jail for 4 years. Things will change. Things would change. And as I've already said before, I think all of this should be within the criminal courts anyways, because I think there would be better oversight. And I think we need to have better oversight. And we need to stop taking children out of homes because their mother can't drive, doesn't have a car, and can't get to the hospital. Get them a ride service, you losers. Right? Get them $100 a week ride service instead of paying $500 a week in foster care for the 3 kids you removed. Da da da! I mean, it doesn't take a brainiac to think, ooh, like fixing this problem would cost us $100 a week, or putting them in foster care would cost us $500 a week. Because it's about the money. It's about milking the taxpayers. That's what it's about. Let's start sending them to jail. Let's start making examples. Let's start doing it. Let's start pushing our legislators. We have to get to the Capitol House in the state, or, if we have to go walk on the National Mall in DC, but let's start doing this, people. We, few and far between, cannot do this alone. And if you think it can't happen to your child, come on, look at me. I'm a fighter. I'm pretty intelligent. I've had plenty of tests that tell me pretty high IQ. I've had great education. And the state of Florida fucks with me. With me. If they're fucking with me, they're fucking with less intelligent and knowledgeable, unable to research people. Children are a commodity. If you think it can't be your children, you're wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background in life is. You have to bring in more than the year before. People are having less children, right? Isn't that what they keep saying? People are having less children. Okay, I'm going to talk next about qualifications of DCF people, especially like the higher ups that I'm going to be putting in my demand letter and in my 1983 case. So yeah, let's get to the next one. But please give me comments. Please, if you have receipts that you want to disregard what I've said, prove me wrong. I really want to see. I would love to see foster parents that have neurological and psychological testing done, because I don't believe it. Don't believe it. Same thing for DCF workers. These are pseudo parents. So if you can do it to the bio, you can do it for the pseudo parents, right? For the de facto parents, right? DCF is a de facto parent. Foster care, placement, custody, de facto parents. Start testing them too. Probably see a lot of them have no soul. I wish there was a soul detector. All right, I know I'm a little crazy, but anyways, I will see you guys soon on my next video. All right, thanks. Talk to you later.